What's up? It's Kanan. We're back with another reaction video. This Jimmy Butler news is wild. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's go. It helps with the algorithm. Like, subscribe, comment. It helps with the algorithm. Let's go.
So Jimmy Butler wants a max contract, but Pat Riley ain't having it. Called Jimmy out to the media.
You should keep your mouth shut.
Why? Because Jimmy is amazing in the playoffs, but takes it easy in the regular season, which annoys Pat Riley. And Jimmy is injury prone at this point. He wants a max contract at 35 years old. So a new report from the New York Post says the six-time All-Star Jimmy Butler is the most accomplished standout potential free agent, and he likes Brooklyn. According to sources close to the player. Oh, really? Does that even make sense? The Nets are at a rock-bottom rebuild. Why would they want a late-prime Jimmy Butler? Actually, there is one scenario where it makes perfect sense. But for now, he's on the Heat, and this year is huge. The Celtics are so far ahead of everyone else in the East. Sixers land Paul George, Knicks got Mikal Bridges. So I want to show why Jimmy to the Nets actually works, but what are the Heat doing? But the NFL season has started.
Okay, Jimmy Butler to the Nets would not work, and I'm going to explain why. Brooklyn. Jimmy Butler plays the three. So look, I'm about to explain it right now, and I'm about to break it down. If everything works out, Bojan Bogdanovic, okay, he's not better than Jimmy Butler, so he would probably have to slide to the two or the four. Then you got Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson is not going to be better than Jimmy Butler, but you know he has a role, right? Ben Simmons already is the 4/1. So if you have Dennis Schroeder at the 1, Bojan at the 2, no, Cam Thomas at the 2. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder at the 1, Bojan or Cam Thomas at the 2, Dennis Schroeder at the 1, Ben Simmons at the 4, and then Nick Claxton at the 5. Then it's either Bojan or Jimmy Butler. They're like the same age. I mean, Jimmy Butler could slide in there, but it just doesn't make any sense because they wouldn't have much shooting. Like Dennis Schroeder is like, okay, Cam Thomas is a volume shooter. And then Nick Claxton can't shoot, and neither can Ben Simmons, so that's why it doesn't work.
Started. By the way, there's just about 40 days until the NBA season, and until then, I have been playing Underdog. My favorite game is called Pick'em. I pick higher or lower, and I get up to 1,000x my money with their new game Streaks if I get 11 in a row. So let's start your Pick'em off, right? First up is Courtney Williams, less than 12.5 points. Then Sataway, where check out to get that in tiers in the East. It would be S tier Celtics, A Sixers and Knicks, B Bucks. I'm sorry, but if you lose in the first round back-to-back years, it means something. C, Cavs, Heat, Pacers, D, Magic, then everyone else below that.
What? No, the Magic are not D. The Magic are better than the Cavs. They're going to be better than the Cavs. The Magic are going to be better than the Heat. The Pacers, they just had a situation where I feel like the cards played out for them to get into the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, because you're saying that the Pacers are worse than the Knicks, but the Knicks did get Mikal Bridges. I think the Magic are better. Like, I think that they're like C. Like, so, and I think in like the next 5 years, they're going to at least be an A team. They may not win the championship, but they're going to be close to it.
The problem is the front office. I know that Pat Riley is a basketball god, but the way he does things is out of style. I mean, Pat used to just throw his rings on the table and get free agents to come there, but the last star he got was Jimmy in 2019. And that's because he got lucky, because the Sixers chose Tobias Harris over him. Then Pat tried to get Damian Lillard but failed. Instead, all they've gotten is Kyle Lowry, Terry Rozier, and washed up Victor Oladipo. Not great. And I know that they made the finals 2 years.
When they got Victor Oladipo, though, he was not washed up. He came off the injury and he was still like getting like, I think he was still getting like 17. Let's verify that real quick. But he is right in that they've been getting superstars way past their prime. Okay, he was getting 12. He was getting 12. Let's look at his stats. Okay, see, this is what I mean. He was getting like 21. He was getting 21, and then he got traded. But he did get hurt again, so. Victor Oladipo was cold, though. He was nice.
Years ago, but they weren't close to actually winning. Meanwhile, Pat's giving out bad contracts left and right. Duncan Robinson, Hassan Whiteside, Deion Waiters, Tyler Johnson. Am I crazy to also add Tyler Hero? I mean, dude had a great performance in the bubble as a rookie, but since then, pretty disappointing. The one great thing that they have done is draft. Since 2015, the Heat have nailed every pick, which is rare. 2015 Justice Winslow never panned out, but look at this. Bam in 2017, Hero in 2019. Precious Achiuwa and Nikola Jovic are great late in the first round. Jaime Jaquez is great. Blue Ware looks good. But the Heat are a star team, not a rookies team. Whenever they win, it's because of some star free agent, from like LeBron to Chris Bosh to Shaq. But now, you have to be creative. I mean, look at Brad Stevens last season. He won Executive of the Year because he landed Kristaps Porzingis, Andrew Holiday. Or the Mavericks, right? Like, they messed up letting Jalen Brunson go, but every move since then has been awesome. Kyrie for cheap when nobody wanted him. Nailed the PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford trade deadline. Where is that from the Heat? So in the playoffs, Boston beats Miami in 5 games without KP. Jimmy Butler got hurt. So this felt like a turning point off season. And they did nothing. Oh, my bad. They re-signed Kevin Love, but they lost Caleb Martin, called on Larry Markkinen and Mikal Bridges, but no. So all the experts gave them like a C or a D off season. So what do they do now? Well, if they trade Jimmy Butler to the
Okay, styling and profiling.
So what do they do now? Well,
that is a fly coat and that hat is clean. I'm rocking with that.
If they trade Jimmy Butler to the Nets, it would kickstart a retool. Not a rebuild, a retool around Bam Adebayo. Because whoever comes next, it is Bam's team no matter what. Dude was amazing at the Olympics and is good enough to be core on a championship. I don't think Bam will ever be like that number one guy. He needs like a Giannis or a Kevin Durant on offense, but his defense is elite. Guys are afraid of Bam. Like, some players get like monster highlight blocks. Bam doesn't have the opportunity because people are afraid to shoot over him. Hard to track that in the box score. But before we get to a Jimmy trade, what else could they do instead? Well, there are some star players who might come cheap. Like, have you seen all the drama with Brandon Ingram lately? He's up for an extension, but the Pelicans don't want to give it to him. So, every year, Pels players hold a voluntary camp in California together. Everyone expected BI to be there like he always is, but he never showed up. Instead, he was on Instagram, posting some motivational speaker who said, "You cannot stay in environments where people don't know the true value of you. If you stay in environments where people don't recognize the value of you, you will shrink your gift to the size of what they can stand." I am sorry. That is like some middle school emotional BS, posting that on.
Nah, it's not. That's big facts. If you're around a whole bunch of people that don't value you, then you're going to eventually devalue yourself.
Social media.
That I'm not going what he's saying.
Like, dude, grow up, be a professional. Either way, BI would come cheap. Now, adding his mid-range game wouldn't be great with Jimmy and Bam, but at least he's an option. Another idea is Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma just gushed about Pat Riley in the media, saying he admires him, he's the best. Plus, you know that the Wizards are tanking. They don't want Kuz out there balling to get a new contract. And the obvious one is Zach LaVine. His game is a perfect fit with Jimmy and...
What does he mean? This guy is his he's not spreading information, but Kyle Kuzma was getting like 23 points last season. Okay, yeah, he was getting 22, 6, and 4. Like he was balling. And his minutes were down. So if he would have had like 35 minutes, he probably would have been averaging like 25, 8, and 5.
Bam! You trade Hero, who the Bulls would want anyway with his youth. Maybe 1 draft pick, maybe 0. I mean, if he's healthy, Zach is an all-in move for Miami. But if not, Jimmy has to go. He is a free agent this coming summer. If he doesn't re-sign, they lose him for nothing. Somebody's going to offer him a big deal, by the way, because this year Jimmy will go off. He is so motivated to have a big year for a new contract. I mean, we just saw injury-prone Paul George get $212 million from Philly. One option is the Houston Rockets, who are ready to win now. Another is the Nets. It sounds crazy because they're tanking, but imagine this. They have a horrible year and somehow land the #1 pick for Cooper Flag. Then they sign and trade for Jimmy to preserve their cap space. And Brooklyn is projected to have up to $70 million to spend. No other team even has above $30 million. They could create an instant contender around young Cooper Flag. Who else could they spend this money on? Well, current 2025 free agents include Julius Randle, Miles Turner, Aaron Gordon, Fred VanVleet, Bruce Brown. Not an amazing list, I admit it, but Brooklyn's no stranger to a big trade either. My point is it's possible, but I think Jimmy leaked this news for one reason: money. He knows that the Nets have the most cap space to spend, and he's trying to leverage them to get a max contract from the Heat, but he needs someone else to want him, or else Pat Riley's not going to bid against himself. I mean, if you believe this Nets rumor,
Yeah, Pat Riley is pretty cheap, honestly. When he didn't like give Dwayne Wade that contract so that he could have just been a Heat for life, I was like, wow, this man he's just focused on, the business of the NBA, but he's not really, like super loyal to the players. He's loyal to the process.
ask yourself this: is it a coincidence that the one team that Jimmy likes just so happens to have the most money next summer? No. No one just likes the Nets, okay? I'll tell you what he likes: their money. Okay, so who else might Jimmy like next season? Well, the cap space rankings are the Nets, who have almost $50 million for sure, but could have up to $70 million. Remember, they're getting Ben Simmons' contract off their books. Then the Rockets, the Wizards, and the Spurs. I guarantee Jimmy will leak how he likes his hometown Rockets and their young squad, or how he'd be infatuated to play with Victor Wembanyama. But the truth is, he wants to be a Heat, but he needs Miami to feel like he might leave somewhere else. Then he actually needs to go somewhere else if it comes down to it, like PG eventually did with the Clippers. But the Heat need to do something big, or Jimmy might actually leave for one more bag. And yo, another crazy situation is the Phoenix Suns. They've got 1 year to get this right, or all hell breaks loose. I mean, imagine if KD left them with already no draft picks and Bradley Beal. So I looked at next year in Phoenix, and why KD's haters might actually be right.
All right, man. Y'all comment below what you think. Let me know if you think Jimmy Butler is going to be a Brooklyn Net or if he's going to be Miami Heat in the future. All right, peace.